Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I just want to quickly come on here because I want to talk about nutrient stacking. It is very important to me that you guys here in this group really understand the power of nutrition, and not just from a superficial level in terms of, yes, I know I need to eat more vegetables, I need to diversify my diet, I need to bring in more of a variety of different foods. That is great, and that's exactly what you need to do. But oftentimes I see that there is a gap between knowing that and actually doing it. So I know that a lot of you guys here have been on restrictive diets, and that might be a good starting point. But today I want to talk about nutrient stacking because I took that term from the Habit Stacking book, which I read, which is really good too. You can check that out. And I think the same principle applies for nutrition and nutrients, because the reason for nutrient stacking, which essentially means that you are starting to build a lot of different nutrients in a very specific way, you stack it on top of each other, so that you're creating a compounding effect of those nutrients. And the reason why that is important with a chronic disease or chronic inflammation is because your body always needs more in order to heal. So what I'm seeing is that there is this misunderstanding that we need to find one simple diet that will help with everything, and that if you just stick to that diet, that your symptoms will go away forever for good. In my opinion, and what I've seen in my experience, unfortunately it doesn't work that way. It's not that easy of a simple approach. The reason is because Hashimoto's thyroiditis and also other autoimmune diseases is a multifaceted disease, and it creates a lot of imbalances in a lot of body systems that deplete a lot of nutrients. So in order for us to heal or help our bodies to heal, and in order for us to step out of these systems long term, we need to re-nourish and we need to rebalance those body systems. And in the beginning, when we're very inflamed and when we're having a lot of symptoms, we need a whole lot of those nutrients, much more so than, let's say, if you're 5 years in and you have regained balance in your body and you just need to quote unquote maintain your health. It looks very different. So today I really want to explain the concept of nutrient stacking, and I want to give you a few tips on how you can get started on that. And by the way, this is what I have been creating in my brand new membership that I'm starting next week. It's opening next week, actually, in July. We are going to be doing deep dives into nutrition, and you'll be getting a lot of resources and support in terms of how you can bring in which nutrients in which amounts and which order that makes sense for your body to re-establish health long term. And if you think that your gut is so out of control that you can't even bring in all of these nutrients, I want you to think again, because these nutrients are important to rebalance and realign your gut health that has been gone off the tracks. So additionally, I also feel like oftentimes there's a lot of emphasis being put on functional tests, which are amazing. They can give you a really good overview of what's happening in your gut, and there might be some overgrowth and things like that, and some strategies that need to be followed in order to rein in perhaps the bacterial overgrowth of certain bacteria that are causing you symptoms in your GI tract. However, then it is important to also make sure that we are supporting our gut long term, so that when those bacteria have been removed with a specific protocol that you might be getting from your functional doctor or from your naturopathic doctor, that you are actually helping now to regain that digestive strength And that can only be done with nutrition and foods, and in a very specific way and amount, so that your body is starting to become resilient, so that any sort of overgrowth in the future is not likely to happen anytime soon, right? And this is what I see is missing oftentimes. That is the gap. And that is why I'm really passionate about filling that gap and teaching you about nutrition and how to use nutrition and bring that into your diet with specific foods, specific amounts, specific recipes, specific protocols, specific approaches that you can then implement on a day-to-day basis. Very easy, because you will get the resources and start to create this nutritional foundation that will help you to alleviate symptoms, because you are actually starting to nourish your body with what it needs, and thereby supporting healing in your body. So I'm super excited for this. On Monday, we're starting with the first month of the membership. It's a $39 monthly commitment from you, and there's no contract. So if you want to check it out, and if you want to see how far you can go with like committing to bringing in foods and learning about foods and what the healing powers of foods are, in maybe conjunction with your functional medicine doctor, or maybe just to get started and really dip your feet in, you can join us anytime, and you can leave anytime if you don't like it, which I don't think you will. But you can leave us anytime. If there's no commitment, there's no contract. You can leave us on a month-to-month basis. You can join us on a month-to-month basis and really learn and also implement. And then we get together once a month as a group to answer your questions about the specific topic that we've been going through in the month. Right, so it's not overwhelming. It's low commitment, but it can be as high as a commitment as it needs to be for you to start seeing results in your nutrition approach. So let's talk about a few nutrition aspects, approaches that I really want you to focus on your healing journey. So the first month of the membership will be I'm going to be walking you through 3 main components of a anti-inflammatory diet that is non-restrictive, that'll help with your gut balance, that will help with sleep, and that'll help with joint pain. Okay, so today for you guys, I want to give you the very first component. I want to start talking about that is super, super important, which are the antioxidants. So we have all heard that term antioxidants, but oftentimes we don't really grasp the concept of antioxidants. And so I want to give you a few important pointers here as to why it's important to bring those in as one of the first healing components to a autoimmune diet. The reason why is that the medicinal properties are very high in specific foods, and that are in specific biochemical parts of food that are not vitamins, minerals, proteins, and fats. Okay, so all those macronutrients are important. However, what we are mostly deficient in when it comes to chronic inflammation by default are those antioxidants that are chemicals from a plant that the plant creates in order to protect itself from harm, but it also has a lot of medicinal properties. There is a lot of antioxidant, phytochemicals, they're called, almost like accessory nutrients in foods. There's a lot of them, but I want to specify one specifically, and those are the flavonoids. And the flavonoids are a group of plant pigments. Okay, so we're talking about color, and we're talking about the plant color, the fruit color, as well as the flavor. So the flavonoids are a group of plant pigments that can really exert a high level of antioxidant activity that is generally more potent, it has been shown, and effective against a much broader range of oxidants than the traditional antioxidant nutrients that you might be knowing about, which is vitamin C, zinc, selenium, vitamin E, beta carotene, and all of these things. All of these things are also antioxidants, and very, very important. However, the flavonoids they give you a much higher boost of these antioxidants in a much smaller amount. So that's why I always tell my clients to focus on the colors, herbs and spices to bring in, which is a very easy thing to do. So the flavonoids, besides what they're doing, they're lending color and to fruits and flowers. But besides lending color to fruits and flowers, they are also responsible for many of the medicinal properties of foods, juices, herbs, and also bee pollen, which is an amazing superfood, by the way. So bee pollen can be very healing for your immune system. So they're also sometimes called nature's biological response modifier. And this is exactly what we want to do. We want to modify our autoimmune response in our body, right? Because we want to not suppress our immune system, but we don't want to stimulate our immune system either. So we want to modify it so that our immune system is learning how to react to certain foods, to certain environmental pollutants, to certain triggers that are now really driving your autoimmune response into overdrive. And they have also anti-inflammatory properties, so they are anti-allergic, antiviral, and a lot of them are anti-cancer, and they have anti-cancer properties. So that is why it's really, really important to bring in those colors. So I do want to, for those of you who are in the Hashimoto's Fatigue Solution Program, my 4-month program, I would ask you to check out the resource that I provided you with that actually lists all of the different colors and all of their specific antioxidant effect in the body, and what foods are listed under those different colors with high level antioxidant effect. Okay, so you can use that, and then you can bring those foods back into your diet. There's different types of flavonoids. One of the ones that are really, really good are actually the blue colored ones. So all of the blueberries, but also like there is like vegetable blueberries and grapes that are extremely important for to rebuild cellular structure, and they also go after high reactive proteins in your body. So they can help you to neutralize some of those reactive cytokines that are causing you inflammation in your body. One of the most therapeutic foods that I have utilized in the very, very beginning of my healing journey, and I love it to this day, it is actually green tea. So that's a different type of antioxidant. It's not a flavonoid. It's more like a catechin. But so the green tea extract is such a powerful antioxidant food that if you are starting to drink it, not just every once in a while, but consistently, at least 2 to 3 cups a day, your body will start to utilize those catechins in order to modify the immune response and to go after free radicals, so which are inflammatory properties in your body. Okay, so and that's with everything, and that's why I say nutrient stacking. To just have a green tea every once in a while is a good start, and later on, if you have your Hashimoto's under control, it can be extremely helpful just to keep things going and to provide your body with these nutrients. But in the very beginning, you have to be, when you're on a healing journey, you have to be a little bit more consistent, and you have to be a little bit more mindful. So I would even suggest to ditch the coffee, even though I don't hate on coffee. I love coffee. I drink it every day. However, in the beginning, or when you feel that your body is inflamed, you might want to ditch the coffee, and you might want to replace it with green tea. So on a regular daily basis for a good amount of time. And then you are bringing in a massive amount of different colors every day. So I have the 3x3x3 method, which I talk about in my challenge that it's actually coming up. I'm going to talk about that soon in July. 3x3 method, and which is also going to be, I'm going to guide you through that in my membership. So if that is something that you want to utilize, you can do that. So really bringing in those colors on a day-by-day basis in high amounts, and then bring in the green tea is one of the first steps you can take in order to give your body what it needs long term. And that is just one of the 3 key components to an anti-inflammatory healing diet with Hashimoto's. And so I just wanted to bring that to you guys. For example, the flavonoid content of selected foods, for example. So when we're talking about foods that can be as simple as apples, right? So apples have a lot of flavonoids in them. Apricots have a lot of flavonoids in them. So for example, I can give you some milligrams. So apples have 3 to 16 milligrams per 100 gram of serving of flavonoids. Apricots have 10 to 18 of the flavonoids. The blueberries have a different type of antioxidant, the anthocyanins, which are very, just like one of the best in inflammation fighting phytochemicals in them, and they have 130 to 250 milligrams of those phytochemicals in them. So blueberries are super, super good, as well as black currants, 130 to 400, and cranberries, 60 to 200. Okay, so those are just some of the foods that I suggest to rotate in on a regular daily basis to start nutrient stacking and growing your healing diet with Hashimoto's. All right, everybody, that's just what I wanted to share with you guys today. I hope this was helpful, and let me know if you want to join us for $39. We're starting next week, actually, July, and to really start stacking those nutrients and bring in those healing anti-inflammatory nutrients so that you can start to build and grow a really strong foundation. All right? Okay, everybody, have a great day, and I'll see you again very soon.